India has begun its crackdown on Khalistani terror. The National Investigation Agency has confiscated properties of Khalistan terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, the leader of banned pro-Khalistan organization Sikhs for Justice, and slain Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Pannun's two properties have been confiscated. One is an agricultural land in outskirts of Amritsar, city of Punjab, while other is his residence in a posh Chandigarh city sector. The confiscation means that Pannun now loses his right to property. These properties now belong to the government of India. Nepal's Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is in China. He is scheduled to attend the opening ceremony of Asian Games, which is being held at Hangzhou Olympic Sports Stadium. On his 8th day visit to China, he is scheduled to visit Chongqing municipality to observe the agricultural and industrial advancement in China's 4th largest city. The Prime Minister will also address the China-Nepal Investment Summit jointly organized by the General Counsel for the promotion of international trade. According to Nepal's Foreign Ministry, both the nations enjoy an excellent state of bilateral relations as good friends, close neighbors, and trusted partners. At least 6 people have died and 3 are still missing in Taiwan after a fire and explosions at a factory in Pingtung. According to authorities, search operations are underway. As per a witness, the force of the explosion at golf factory was so much that it propelled him forward. Taiwan's fire department has said at least 4 of its members were among the dead and over 100 people are injured. According to the state media, the reason of the fire and the subsequent explosion is not yet known. South Korea's opposition leader Lee Jae-myung ended a 24-day hunger strike earlier today. The leader of the Democratic Party of Korea will maintain a schedule including court attendance while being hospitalized. Prosecutors accused Lee of asking a company to illegally transfer $8 million to North Korea when he was the governor of a province. This month, the prosecutors sought the warrant in an investigation into bribery allegations concerning a development project. Lee, who lost South Korea's presidential election to conservative Yoon Suk-yeol last year, has denied all wrongdoings. He called the allegations a political conspiracy against him. Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly, reaffirmed his country's commitment to safeguarding peace and freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. In accordance with the international law and the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea for Climate Change, Chin said developing countries are currently most vulnerable and asked for assistance in terms of finance, technology, human resources, development, and governance coordination. The Russian army attacked multiple command centers, tanks, and munition depots of Ukraine. The developments come in as Ukraine also struck the Russian air defense systems in this same period. The Russian army also claims to have repelled several attacks by the Ukrainian army in the direction of Donetsk. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army confirmed that it struck the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Crimea on Friday. 3 new cargo ships have headed towards Ukrainian Black Sea ports for further food exports. Deputy Ukraine's Prime Minister Kubrakov said on X social media app, bulk carriers use temporary corridor established by the Ukrainian Navy in order to export over 127,000 metric tons of agricultural products and iron ore for China, Egypt and Spain. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered a heartfelt thanks to Canada for its help in the war against Russia. He went on to say that Ottawa's aid has helped save thousands of lives. Since the beginning of 2022, Canada has committed over $5.9 billion in aid to Ukraine. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said Canada will be offering an extra $482 million in military aid over the next 3 years. Canada will also supply Ukraine with 50 armored vehicles. Reports suggest that the Biden administration has agreed to send a limited number of ATACMS long-range missiles to Ukraine. Kyiv has been asking the US for the Army tactical missile system for months. This advanced missile system would give Ukraine the ability to strike targets from as far as 180 miles away. The congressional officials said there was still a debate about the type of missile that would be sent and how many would be delivered to Ukraine. Lawmakers in Washington were hesitant of supplying the missile system to Kyiv out of fear that it would wide the war with Russia. US Senator Bob Menendez has been criminally charged along with his wife and 3 co-defendants for taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes. The bribes included gold bars and a luxury car to wield his power abroad and at home. This is a rare case in US national politics that involves a serving, high-ranking official. The indictment contained an image of gold bars that investigators seized from Menendez's home, as well as envelopes stuffed with cash found inside jackets. Thousands of migrants have crossed into the United States in recent days, with many more still arriving by bus and cargo trains to Mexican border towns. On Friday, dozens of migrants were seen crossing the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass. This dramatic increase along the border can create fresh political challenges for the US President Joe Biden, who is heading into election season. In May, Biden had rolled out a new policy to deter illegal crossings, including deporting migrants. Within a month, these measures drove the border crossing rate down to 70%. But a recent uptick in arrival at the border riding dangerous cargo trains through Mexico suggests the early deterrent effect is wearing off. Clashes occurred between Bangladeshis pro- and anti-government protesters in New York. Pro- and anti-Bangladesh government protesters clashed outside the UN headquarters. The two sides clashed sporadically on the streets of New York. They were spotted throwing objects at each other while the police moved in quickly. Police held the demonstrators back behind barriers. Pope Francis has said it is the duty of humanity to rescue migrants drowning at sea. During a visit to Marseille, Francis spoke at an inter-religious prayer service before a monument dedicated to those lost at sea. Francis said humanity couldn't keep looking away from the drama of shipwrecks caused by the cruel trafficking. The Pope, who was greeted at Marseille airport by Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne, is making the 27-hour trip to Marseille to conclude a meeting of Catholic young people and bishops from the Mediterranean area, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Over 170,000 migrants have come to Europe, while more than 2,500 have died or went missing. In a major new enforcement effort, Mexican officials have blocked locals from hitching rides on cargo wagons to curb the flow of people heading to US. Thousands of people have reached the northern border in recent days and crossed into the United States. Many after taking dangerous journeys on freight trains known as the Beast. Mexican railroad operator this week temporarily suspended 60 trains due to the influx of people. Country's Migration Institute has also deployed agents to dissuade people from climbing abroad. The late Colombian artist Fernando Botero, known for his sculptures and paintings, was honored at the Colombian Congress. The ceremony was led by Botero's daughter and his son. The body of the artist, who was born in Medellin, arrived in Colombia on Thursday, after dying in Monaco on September 15th. Heralded as South America's answer to Picasso, Botero's work have been featured in exhibitions across the world. His canvases and sculptures sell for more than $2 million each. As an artist, Botero sought to make his work accessible. He donated over 200 works to create the Botero Museum, which is free and receives 500,000 visitors a year. Protests continue in Armenia as thousands of people take to the streets of Yerevan. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan hopes ethnic Armenians can stay in Azerbaijan's Karabakh region. Pashinyan has said that Yerevan would accept them. However, a massive resettlement would only happen if it becomes impossible for Karabakh Armenians to remain there. Costa Rica's Foreign Minister Arnaldo Andre has urged the United Nations member states to rethink their relationship with planet Earth. Andre has defended the measures the Central American country implemented to protect the environment and its commitment to address environmental crisis. In his speech, the Costa Rican official also called on the 193 members of the international body to take action to manage migratory flows and financial support to integrate migrants. People around Sao Paulo are riding out to escape sweltering heat wave by bathing in water fountains and pools. Larger part of Brazil is expected to suffer from extreme heat this week, with temperatures to go above 40 degrees Celsius, according to meteorologists. Atmospheric conditions will prevent the arrival of cold fronts in most of the country over the next few days, prompting a long sequence of sunny days with heat well above the normal levels. UK Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden has addressed the United Nations. He has given a dire warning about AI's world destabilizing capabilities and the need for coordination, global action to ensure nations against its risks. Dowden insisted on AI's latent potential to redefine fate of humanity, as well as the lurking dangers. The Deputy Prime Minister also mentioned the efforts of the British government to assert UK leadership on AI safety technology. The UK is set to host AI Regulation Summit in November that will focus on how governments, not AI companies, should lead in addressing national security concerns. Peruvian workers have unearthed 8 bundles of funeral belongings. Belongings believed to be around 1,000 years old. Burial site was found while installing a gas pipeline in capital Lima. According to archaeologists, the site may have been a cemetery for children who died from severe anemia. 6 of the bundles were found around 100 meters deep. As per experts, these burials might be linked to the pre-Inca, Yaikma and Chanche cultures that developed in that is now northern Peru and along the central coastline. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is considering a crackdown on smoking to phase out the use of cancer sticks for the next generation. According to a report by The Guardian, Sunak is looking at measures similar to those introduced in New Zealand and last December. The aim was to make the country smoke-free by 2025 and save the health system billions of dollars. Reports suggest that Sunak is also reconsidering levying a £10 fine on those who miss their medical appointments. These new steps are being perceived to be a new consumer-focused drive by the government before next year's election.